Good morning. I thought maybe I would spend this video on talking about shame because I've learned so much about what happens to a person in a narcissist relationship and then leaving that relationship. It's very difficult. And why is it so difficult for recovery and self heal and self care? Well, I understand much more about shame. Self compassion also helps us through shame, but we need empathy as well for an important reason. Shame is a social emotion. Shame happens between people and it heals between people. Even if I feel it alone, shame is the way I see myself through someone else's eyes. Self compassion is often the first step to healing shame. We need to be kind to ourselves before we can share our stories with someone else. I truly believe that line of self compassion is the first step to healing shame. I think I was feeling it and it was uncomfortable and I didn't understand why. But Brene Brown has made a very, very good point about shame. Now, she shares that in Kristen Neff's research on self compassion, it's been a life changer for her. Neff runs the Center for Mindful Self Compassion, where she studies how we develop and practice self compassion. According to Neff, self compassion has three elements: self kindness, common humanity, and mindfulness. This is how she defines each of these elements. This really, really touched the core of my heart, stomach, and mind about self compassion and self kindness. Self kindness versus self judgment. Self compassion entails being warm and understanding towards ourselves when we suffer, fail, or feel inadequate. Rather than ignoring our pain or flagellating, flagellating ourselves with self criticism, self compassion, people recognize that being imperfect, failing, experiencing life difficulties, that's inevitable. So they tend to be gentle on themselves when confronted with painful experiences rather than getting angry when life falls short of self set ideals. Very good point. Very good point. Common humanity, I can't talk. Common humanity versus isolation. Self compassion evolves recognizing that suffering and personal inadequacy is part of the shared human experience. How true. Something that we all go through rather than being something that happens to me alone. Mindfulness versus over identification. Mindfulness is a non judgmental reception receptive mind state in which one observes thoughts and feelings as they are without trying to suppress or deny them. We cannot ignore our pain and feel compassion for it at the same time. We cannot ignore our pain and feel self compassion for it at the same time. Wow, that's a powerful statement. At the same time, mindfulness requires that we not be over identified with thoughts and feelings so that we are caught up and swept away by negative reactivity. Very powerful statement. Brene says, I highly recommend you take her self-compassion inventory on her website. You can learn a lot about your strengths and your areas that need attention. Being a shame researcher for so many years, Brene says she feels she's really good at common humanality, even though shame says it's just you. I know we all struggle. Self-kindness is my growth area for sure. Like most people, I talk to myself in ways I would never talk to people I love. I try to remind myself, if I wouldn't talk that way to Ellen or Charlie when they make a mistake or drop a ball, I shouldn't talk that way to myself. Self-kindness is both more difficult and more revolutionary than we think. What's your thoughts on that? I'm just not sure that I would speak harsh to myself. I know that I practice self-compassion, self-healing, self-caring, and humanity. I believe I am kind to people and genuinely care about their best interest. So some of these may relate, and maybe I don't recognize it. Maybe it's a small portion of my pain, and it will heal along with the part that is so prominent and up front, and I wear right here on the sleeve of my shirt would be self-compassion, self-healing, to do all of those things. And I like this statement, we cannot ignore our pain and feel compassion at the same time. Sometimes that pain can be so overwhelming. It's hard to have self-compassion when you're feeling the pain. And when I feel the pain, I believe that's when I'm sobbing and crying and feel very emotional. When I'm done releasing that, which is usually a video, or I just have a cry in the car or in my room, then I feel the self-compassion and self-healing after I've released it. So I hope you feel the same, and thank you for listening and joining in with me, because this research that I'm doing about what's happening to me obviously is why so many of you reached out to me when I was in pain and I showed that pain. You reached out because you felt the pain. It triggered you because you remembered what you went through. So thank you, everybody, for helping me heal with your support. I truly appreciate it. Thank you.